Hello guys, so basically our today's topic will be multiplying polynomial. Okay, so our today's topic is actually multiplying polynomials. Okay, so before we actually getting and start, before we actually doing any question, I think so right here you guys can see it, right? So we have some really important property over here. Let me zoom in a little bit. So just want to make sure you guys can see it really clear. So those are the really important property. Okay, let's look at the first one. The first one is actually bracket a plus b bracket to the power 2, right, is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b to the power 2 b squared, right? So that's the thing for property 1. Excuse me, my voice. So okay, so that's for property 1. Okay, and then what we have for property 2 is bracket a minus b to the power bracket to the power 2, right, is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, right? And then finally for property 3, what we have is bracket a plus b bracket and bracket a minus b bracket is actually equal to a squared minus b squared, right? So those are basically the property, and I just want to say for all of those three property, you have to memorize. Okay, you have to memorize. Okay, so basically those three property will be really useful. Okay, so that's why I say you have to memorize it. Those will be really important even further on, like on the further on topic which we're gonna cover later on. Those property will be used quite often, okay, to solving different kind of problem, right? So remember those three property you have to memorize and also know how to use it, right? So okay, yeah, right. So now, so that's basically the thing I want to that's basically the important property which I want to cover for multiplying more polynomial. Okay, so now let's do the question. Now it's question time. Okay, so I think we have totally 10 questions. Yeah, we have totally 10 questions. So now is the time for you to actually skip some question if you already know how to do it. Okay, and otherwise I will fully talking about those questions really detailedly because I want to make sure you guys does understand it, right? Okay, so excuse me, so let's move into question 1. Okay, so now let's move into question 1. Let me zoom in a little bit to show you the detail of how you actually doing those how you actually multiplying polynomial. Okay, as this is the first one, I will show you the details. Okay, so the first one, you can see we have a 5x squared multiply 3x to the power 3, right? So what you know is that we have to put the thing out of the bracket, right? So it just basically becomes 5x squared multiply 3x to the power 3, right? And then we have a 5, we have a 3, right? So maybe just for one time I will show you all the details really detailedly. So we have 5 multiplied by 3, right? And then we have x over here, x to the power 2, and x to the power 3. So x to the power 2 multiply x to the power 3 is actually x to the power 2 plus 3, right? It's actually x to the power 2 plus 3, right? So what we have for the solution is 5 multiplied by 3 is actually 15, right? And then we have x 2 plus 3 is actually equal to 5. Okay, since this is just the first one, so I just want to make sure you guys really understand it. That's why I show you all the details. So now we solve the question. We actually solve question 1, right? And then 15x to the power 5 is the solution. Okay. Excuse me. So now let's just move into question 2. So question 2, okay. So maybe I need to show you the details of it. So before we actually do it, remember when you actually doing a question, when you begin to solving a problem, you always have to carefully examine the question first, and then if you get some idea about how to actually doing those questions, then you are able to do it. So what you can see over here is that we have a -3, and then we have a -7, right? And we are actually multiplying polynomial, right? -3 multiply -7 is +21, right? So you write it down +21, and you see there's a r to the power 4, and we have a r to the power 2 on the right hand side, right? So r to the power 4 multiply r to the power 2, right? So it's r to the power 4 plus 2, right? And then you see there's a s to the power 2, and there's a s to the power 5, right? So you should know that it's actually s to the power 2 plus 5. If you actually know pretty well how to doing those questions, you can actually solving this question in one step, right? But here I was just trying to make you guys understand it. That's why I actually want to show the steps. But if you are capable enough, you should finish this question in one step, which is the answer. Okay? So the final answer for this is actually 21r. 4 plus 2 is 6, right? And then we got s 2 plus 5 is equal to 7, right? So now we solve the problem for question 2, and the answer is 21r to the power 6 s to the power 7, right? Okay, so this is the solution for question 2. So now let's move into question 3. Okay, so now you look at question 3, you feel like it's a little bit different, right? So as I say it, so we got phi m outside the bracket, right? And we want to get rid of the bracket by multiply phi m inside, right? So we actually want to multiply phi m with this, and then we also want to multiply phi m with this, and then we also want to multiply phi m with this. So that's the way how we actually get rid of the bracket, right? And then when you see the bracket inside the bracket, right? So basically when you see inside the bracket, there's nothing we can actually cancel it, right? There's nothing we can actually cancel it right here, right? So we don't have to simplify the bracket. So all we have to do over here is just simply multiply phi m for each of the term in the bracket, right? So let me show you the way. Okay, a little bit detail. Okay, so we have 5m multiply 4 to the power 3, and then we have a negative 5 multiply 3 to the power 2, and then we have a plus 5 multiply 2, right? So that's basically the simplification. Okay, so this is the simplification. All right, and then after that we have to simplify a little bit more, right? So as you can see over here, as the first term we have 5 multiply 4 to the power 3, right? So we got 5. So let's do it step by step. Okay. See, since this one is actually a detailed step, a detailed one. I mean, we're gonna go through this detailedly. Okay. So we have 5 multiplied by 4 is 20, right? And then we have so we have to the power 1 multiply to the power 3. So it's m to the power 1 plus 3, right? So 1 plus 3 is actually equal to 4, right? And then we got a negative. And then we have 5 multiply 3 square, right? So we have 5 multiplied by 3 is 15, right? And then we have to the power 1 multiply to the power 2. So it's 1 plus 2 equal to 3, right? And then we have a plus, and then we have 5 multiplied by 2, right? So it's 10m, right? So it's just simply 10m. And now you can see we already solved the problem, right? We solved the problem for question 3, right? So now we solved the problem, and as you can see the solution, we actually cannot cancel any terms, right? So we just leave it at it is. Okay. So let's move on to question 4. Question 4 again. You look at question 4. Since we already do question 3, you see. So question 4 is quite similar, right? Okay. So for question 4, as I tell you guys, okay. So for this kind of problem, you can actually get the solution in one step. Okay, you can actually finish this solution in one step. Okay, so maybe this time, cause since question 3 and question 4 are really similar, I'm just going to show you the way how you actually do this question in one step. Okay, so as you see, we have to multiply 6 to the power 2 to every term in the bracket, right? So let's see. Okay, so let's do it. So we have 6 multiplied by 3 is 18, right? And then we have to the power 2 and to the power 2, so it's to the power 4. And then we have 2 single n's, so it's gonna be to the power 2, right? And then we got negative. And then we have 6 multiplied by 2, so it's 12, right? And then we have to the power 2 multiply so it's to the power 3, right? And then we got n multiplied by is n to the power 2, right? And then we have a plus. 6 is still going to be 6, and then we have to the power 2 multiply we have to the power 2 multiplied by so it's to the power 3, right? And then we have n to the power 1 multiply to the power 2, so it's 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, right? So as you can see, so this is actually the way, how you actually are doing those. So this is how you actually solving those questions in one step. So you just doesn't show the details. Okay, so if you are capable enough, you don't actually need to show the details. Okay, you don't actually need to show the details. You just finish it in one step, right? And then we can see the solution over here. We cannot simplify anything more, so So we just leave it as it is. Okay, so we actually solve question 4. Okay, so we actually solve question 4. Okay, so now let's move into question 5. So question 5 is the first question, the first time which we're going to using the property. Okay, so remember previously I say those 3 properties you have to memorize because it is really important, right? So maybe okay, so let's record the property for actually this question. Okay, so the property which we're going to use it over here is this one. Okay, so the property is basically a plus b multiply a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. As you see, for question 5, we are actually able to use the property right here, right? So we got 7x plus y, and then we got 7x minus y, right? So you know, right? So we are actually able to use the property right here, right? So as the property say it is as the property say that a plus b multiply a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared, right? So right here it's gonna be 7x squared and then minus y squared, right? So we have, so over here we have 7x squared and then we have minus y squared, right? Okay, so now we need to simplify a little bit more. So 7x bracket 2 by power 2. So okay, let me show the detail. Okay, so we have a 7 to the power 2 and then x to the power 2 minus y squared, right? And then it is equal to, so remember, right? So 7 to the power 2 is actually 49, right? So it's actually 49x squared minus y squared, right? Okay, so this is the solution for question 5, right? So this is the solution for question 5. 49x squared minus y squared, alright? Okay, so now let's move into question 6. So when you look at it, you see basically, you know, right here we are actually not able to use any property over here, right? So you might ask me why we can't using why we can't use a plus b. Let me rewrite it a little bit more clearly, I guess. Let me write it. Why we can't use a plus b, a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared, right? So maybe you want to ask me, right? So cause what you may thinking about, like, you know, yeah, question 6, yeah, it's look really similar. So why we can't actually using the property a plus b, a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared? Cause you can see over here, let me use my blue plan. Cause you can see over here those two terms are different, right? So we have the same as 4x, so we have the same 4x, right? But those two terms are different, right? One is negative 5y, the other one is positive 3y, right? So those two terms are different, are not the same, right? Are not the same. So that's why we cannot use in the property, because the property over here is we have the same a and then we have the same b. Only the difference is the negative sign, right? So we have a plus b and then a minus b. The only difference So basically, whenever you're using this property, it's require you having the same A and the same B, right? It require you having the same A and the same B, and the only difference is one is positive, one is negative, right? But it's required you having the same A and B. But in this question, although we do have the same A, but we have different B, right? We have different B, so that's why we are actually not able to using this property over here, right? We are actually not able to using this property over here. Okay, I think this pretty, I think it's pretty enough, explanation, right? So I think you guys does understand the reason why we can't using this property over here, right? Because we have different B. That's the problem. Okay. So basically, you may ask me how we can actually doing this question. Okay. So let me show you the detail of it. Okay. So basically over here, what you have to do is you have to multiply term with term. Okay. So since we have a multiply right here, right? We have a multiply over here. So we want to let me clean a little bit. Okay. So we want to actually multiply this 4x with 4x on the other side, and then we also want to multiply 4x with plus 3y also on the other side. Okay. And since we have another term, right? We have a negative 5y, right? So you actually want to multiply this term with 4x again and then 3y again. So that's actually how you actually solve this kind of problem. That's kind of like the original method how you solving this kind of problem. Okay. Okay, so let me show you the detail of it. Okay, so for now you just try to focus on this side. Okay, so we're trying to multiply this side to the other side. Okay, right? So we're trying to multiply the left hand side to the right hand side, right? Okay, so you can see on the left hand side we have a 4x minus 5y, right? So first of all, you want to using 4x multiply 4x, right? So we want to multiply 4x, right? So cause on the other side, right? So 4x multiply 4x, and then we have plus, right? We have plus 4x multiply 3y, right? Okay, and then right now, since we already do everything for 4x, we should doing something for negative 5y, right? So as I said before, negative y have to multiply with 4x and also with 3y, right? So what we're gonna do over here, we have a plus, so you put negative 5y inside the bracket, multiply 4x, and then we have negative 5y bracket multiplied by 3y. Okay, so now you get all the terms. Now basically you already on the right track. You already finished the multiplication, right? So you already finished the multiplication by so the simple logic over here is that you multiply the terms in the left hand side with every term on the right hand side, right? So that's what we do, right? So we multiply 4x on the left hand side, and then we multiply 4x on the left hand side to the right hand side, right? So the right hand side is also 4x, and so the right hand side we have a 4x and a 3y, right? So 4x, so basically what we have to do is 4x multiply 4x plus 4x multiply 3y, right? And on the left hand side, we have another term, which is negative yy. So we have to multiply 4x, and we have to multiply 4x and 3y to negative yy, right? So that's what we actually do over here, right? So we have negative yy multiplied by 4x, and then plus negative yy multiplied by 3y, right? Okay, I mean, you guys understand it, right? So you will have, okay, so basically, let's move into, we have to simplify it. We have to simplify it, right? We have to simplify it. So you can see over here, we have 4x multiplied by 4x. So it's actually 16x squared, right? And then what we have is 4x. What we have is, we have 16x squared plus 4x multiplied 3y, right? So 4x multiplied by 3y is actually 12xy, right? And then we have negative 5y multiplied by 4x, right? So we have negative 5y multiplied by 4x. So it's gonna be negative 20xy, right? So it's gonna be negative 20xy, right? And then we are on our last term. So we have negative 5y multiplied by 3y. So it's gonna be negative 15y squared, right? So it's gonna be negative 15y squared, right? Right? So now you see the result. You almost finished the simplification, right? We almost finished the simplification, but we can still simplify those two terms, right? We can still simplify those two terms, right? So we just write it down 16x squared, and then we got positive 12xy and minus 20xy, right? So 12xy minus 20xy is actually negative 8xy, and then we have minus 15y squared, right? So now we get the solution, right, for this question. Now we get the solution for this question, right, which is 16x to the power 2 minus 8xy minus 15y squared, right? Okay. Okay, so maybe I should also leave some message over here, because before, okay, so over here, okay, so over here, let me write it down. A and B have to be the same. Okay, let me write it down. A and B have to be the same in order for you to actually using this property. Okay, A and B have to be the same if you actually want to apply this property. All right. Okay, so I think, yeah, that's everything for question 6. All right. So now let's move into question 7. Yeah, I see. Yeah, there's 4 questions left. Let's move into question 7. So question 7 over here, we got the second question. Actually, we actually, have to using the property. Okay. So as I tell you guys before, maybe recall one more time. So recall what we have is x plus y to the power 2 is actually equal to x squared plus 2xy plus y squared, right? So that's the Okay, I think, yeah, let me actually, rewrite it, because yes, sorry. So the property we actually have to use it over here is actually the other one. Is x minus y square is equal to x square minus 2xy plus y square. So this is the property we have to use it over here. So okay, so as I said before, those properties you have to memorize it, because it's gonna come in a little bit often in the later topic. Okay, so as you can see the question, what we got is w minus 1 over 5 to the power 2, right? So it's kind of like, it's actually exactly, we can actually use the property over here, right? We can actually use the property over here, right? So let's apply the property. So the property say it's gonna, so the property we focus on the other side, okay? So the property is gonna be x square, right? So we have w square, right? And then we have minus 2, and then 2w, and then we have y. Y is just simply negative 1 over 5, right? Okay, and then okay, let me see it. Okay, so y over here should be positive 1 over 5. Okay, positive 1 over 5, and then we have plus y square, right? So y is actually 1 over 5 square, right? Okay, so don't get things confused. Okay, so right here is say x minus y, right? It's right here is say something like, x is actually minus 5, x is minus y, right? So here w is actually equal to x, and then 1 over 5 is actually equal to y. Those are equivalent, right? So right here w is actually equal to x, it's equivalent to x, and then 1 over 5 is actually equivalent to y, right? So we just have to, all we do over here is just plug in, right? It's just simply plug in the value and then get the solution, right? So maybe I should print one more time. Okay, so as the property said, we got the solution, we got this, right? So what we have is basically x squared, and x is equal to w, right? So it's w squared minus 2, right? Minus 2 multiply x, x is w, and then you multiply y. So y is just simply 1 over 5, right? So y is just simply 1 over 5, and then we have plus y squared. So y is actually 1 over 5 squared, right? So y squared is actually 1 over 5 squared, right? So now we solve the problem, right? So now we actually solve the problem, right? Okay, so we have w squared, and we have negative 2 over 5 w plus 1 over 5 squared. So it's just gonna be 1 over 25, right? Okay, so now we actually solve the problem, right? So now we actually solve the problem for question 7. It's actually not quite difficult, right? So okay, it's actually, if you are capable enough, you can actually solving this question in one step. Yeah, but here is the detail, okay? But here is the detail. If you having some confused why the solution is this, I think you guys does understand it. Okay. So let's moving on to question 8. So question 8, look at it, it's a little bit confused, right? It's actually a little bit confused. So as I said before, if you cannot, like, right here, you can see, right here in this question, what we have is x plus 2 multiply 2x minus 1, and then multiply x squared minus x plus 6, right? So you can see we cannot actually simplify anything more than this. So we have to put the thing out of the bracket, right? So we have to get rid of those. We have to get rid of those bracket first, right? We have to get rid of the bracket first, right? So what we have to do here is we have to doing the multiplication. The first exactly is that we have to do the multiplication of the first two terms. So remember before I say about that you have to multiply. We multiply all the number of the one side to the number of the other side, right? So that's what we exactly do over here. Okay, so that's exactly what we do over here. So let's do it. So okay, so that's basically the strategy how we actually solving this problem. Okay, so maybe this time we do a little bit more faster. Okay, we're gonna do it a little bit more faster because I think you guys should be able to. So because I think you guys does know how to do it right now. So we have x multiplied by 2x, so it's 2x squared, right? And then we have x multiplied by -1, so it's negative x, right? And then we have 2 multiplied by 2x, so it's actually 4x, right? And then we have 2 multiplied by -1, so it's -2, right? So now we simplify a little bit, right? So now we actually simplify a little bit, right? So we have to simplify it more because right here we have a -x plus 4x, right? So we actually can simplify a little bit more. So what we have is x 2x to the power 2, and then we have -x plus 4x, so it's actually positive 3x and -2, right? And on the other side we have is x squared minus x plus 6, right? So as I said before, we have to doing the same thing again, right? So we have to doing the same thing again. So maybe right here I'm going to show you a little bit detail, at least the logic. Okay, so the logic over here is that you have to multiply 2x to the power 2 to this term, and then to this term. Okay, so we have to multiply 2x to the power 2. We have to multiply 2x to the power 2, 2x squared, we have to multiply, okay? Okay, so we have to just multiply 2x to those 3 terms on the left hand side, okay? And the same thing for 3x, and the same thing for -2, okay? So maybe this time I show you a little bit detail. And we have to doing the same thing, okay? Keep in mind, we also have to multiply the same thing to 3x and -2, okay? To the left hand side, okay? So we have to multiply it, right? So maybe this time I show you a little bit detail. So what we have is 2x to the power 2, and then multiply by x squared, and then we have plus 2x to the power 2 multiplied by -x, okay? And then we have plus 2x to the power 2 multiplied by 6, okay? And that's just one term, okay? That's just basically one term. So we have to also multiply the same thing for 3x and -2, right? Okay, so we also have to multiply the same thing. We have to do the same thing for 3x and -2. Okay, so basically we have to do it over here. So basically, okay, so Excuse me, okay? Excuse me. So basically, I think we were doing those in the fast wave because we cannot like auto space right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna explain those things in words because we actually auto space. So okay, I don't want to make, you know, it's really long for you to actually confuse you. Okay, so let's just do those in words. I was talking about it. Okay, so we have a plus, we have 3x multiply x squared. So let me repeat one more time. So we have 3x multiply x to the power 2. So it's 3x to the power 3, right? And then we have 3x multiply negative x. So it's going to be negative 3x to the power 2, right? So we have 3x multiply negative x. It's going to be negative 3x to the power 2. And then we have positive 3x multiplied by 6, right? So we have 3x multiplied by 6. It's going to be 18x, right? So we have 3x multiplied by 6. It's going to be 18x, right? So now we actually done with 3x. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to multiply every term on the left hand side with negative 2. That's all the thing left, right? So we have negative 2 multiply x squared, right? So it's negative 2x squared, right? And then we have negative 2 multiply negative x. So it's going to be positive 2x, right? And then what we have is negative 2 multiply 6. So it's negative 12, right? So it's actually negative 12. So now we actually, you know, now we actually simplify order. Okay, so now we actually simplify order form, right? So we actually already put everything out of the bracket, right? So now we actually already put everything out of the bracket, right? So now all the thing left is just the simplification part. Okay, all the thing left is the simplification part. So as you see, what we have here, we have a 2x to the power 2 multiply x to the power 2. So it's going to be 2x to the power 4, right? And then what we have over here is that 2x to the power 2 multiply negative x. So it's going to be negative 2x to the power 3, right? So it's actually negative 2x to the power 3. And then as you can see over here, we have a positive 2x to the power 2 multiplied by 6, right? So it's actually 12x to the power 2. And since we already simplified all the term for 3x and the negative 2, so we're just going to write it down. Okay, so we're just going to write it down. Okay, so let's just write it down. And then I know it's quite long, but that's actually the way how you solving this problem. Okay, I know it is quite long, but I will, you know, okay, I know it is quite long, but I will tell you the best way to actually how to simplify this. Okay, I will tell you the best way to actually how to simplify this, the easiest way. Okay, so let's begin. So the way you actually simplify this is basically this. Okay, so you can see over here we have a lot of things which we can simplify, right? We have a lot of things which we can simplify, right? So basically you can see over here we have a negative 2x to the power 3, right? And then over here we have a 3x to the power 3, right? So we have a, so you know we actually simplify those two terms, right? So first of all, you have to write it down to, let me write a little bit more clear. So we write it down 2x to the power 4, because for 2x to the power 4, we cannot, and we cannot actually simplify anymore, right? So right, for 2x to the power 4 we cannot actually simplify anymore. And over here you can see we got two term for x to the power 3, right? Which is negative 2x to the power 3 and then positive 3x to the power 3, right? Right, so negative 2 plus 3 is equal to 1, right? So equal to 1, so you just basically write down x to the power 3, right? So you just write down x to the power 3 and then we are done with the term x to the power 3, right? And right now let's focus on x to the power 2. So here you can see there's a 12x to the power 2 and then we have a negative 3x to the power 2 and then you can see over here we have another negative 2x to the power 2, right? So let me let you guys see a little more clear. Okay, so you can see those are the only 3 terms for x to the power 2, right? So those are the only 3 terms for the x to the power 2, right? So we have 12 minus 3 and then minus 2, so it's actually 12 minus 5, right? So it's actually 12 minus 5 is okay, so you guys get it, right? So we have 12x to the power 2 and then negative 3x to the power 2 and then we have negative 2x to the power 2. So we have to simplify it, right? So we have 12 minus 3 minus 2, so it's 12 minus 5, right? 12 minus 5 is actually equal to 7, right? So you write it down 7x to the power 2, right? Okay, right? So 12 minus 3 minus 2 is actually 12 minus 5, right? So it's 7x to the power 2, right? So now we already simplified 4x to the power 2, right? And the only thing left is those two terms, right? The only thing left is x to the power 1 or simply x, right? So what we have is 18x plus 2x, right? So it's 18x plus 2x is 20x, right? It's actually 20x, right? So we have 18x plus 2x, so it's actually 20x. And then the last thing you have to keep in mind is the integer, which is negative 12. And we cannot simplify the integer anymore, right? So the integer only have one term, so we cannot simplify any more than that. So you just write it down negative 12 and then we are done with question 8. Okay, so now we are actually done with question 8 and those are all the steps. Okay, I know it's quite confusing. Okay, I know it's a really long process, but if you understand it, I think you should be able to doing all the questions. Okay, you at least you are able to doing all. I think if you can actually doing this question, it's a lot of steps. So I think you are actually capable enough to to doing well in exam stuff. Okay. Okay, so let's move into question 9. All right. So question 9 and question 10 is actually quite simple. Okay. Now we already get rid of the hard part. Okay. So for question 9, what you can see, we have 49 multiplied by 51, right? So maybe the first time you're actually thinking about yeah, I don't know, I may just go using the calculator, right? So actually you do. So let me write it down, okay? So maybe I hear you already thinking about I don't know if I do this is quite, if I do this by myself, do all the calculations by myself with hand, it's gonna take some time, right? So you may also thinking maybe I should using the calculator, right? So let me write it down, way to find the solution. Okay, So on this point, you may be thinking about maybe you're thinking using a calculator, right? But actually, I'm gonna tell you one way, I'm gonna tell you one method to actually solve this question really easy, okay? So this is the point, okay? So I'm gonna tell you guys one method which is able for you to actually solving this question really easy, okay? So before I actually tell you guys this method, I want to recall one of the property first. Okay, I want to recall one of the property first. So remember the property a plus b is a plus b multiply a minus b is equal to a square minus b square, right? So record the property over here. Okay, so the method over here is actually using this property. Okay, so the method here to make things easy for you to actually calculate 49 multiplied by 51 much more easy is by using this property. But you may ask me how we are going to using this property. So let me tell you one trick. So 49 is actually equal to 50 minus 1, right? And then 51 is actually equal to 50 plus 1, right? So 49 is actually equal to 50 minus 1. And then 51 is actually equal to 50 plus 1, right? So you can actually write 49 multiplied by 51 is equal to 50 plus 1 and then 50 minus 1. Okay, so the order doesn't really matter over here since it is multiplication. Okay, so the order doesn't really matter. Okay, so the order doesn't really matter over here since we are actually multiplying both sides, so you can switch it. I just want to make sure you guys the order doesn't matter. Okay, so I just want to make you guys understand really easily. Okay, so let me maybe write it down. 51 multiplied by 49 it's the same thing. Okay, 51 multiplied by 49 is actually equal to 49 multiplied by 51. So I just want to make, okay, so over here we can actually write 51 multiplied by 49 equal to 50 plus 1 and then multiply 50 minus 1. And you can see it's actually quite similar, right? It's actually this property, right? So it's actually this property, right? So we are actually able to using the property over here, right? So the property say a plus b multiply a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared, right? So okay, so let me show you a little bit detail. So 50 is equal to a over here and then 1 is equal to b, right? So now it's much more clear, right? So we have a plus b multiply a minus b, and then what we have for 51 multiplied by 49 is actually 50 plus 1 and then 50 minus 1. So we are actually able to apply the property over here, right? So the property say is equal to a squared minus b squared, right? So it's actually equal to 50 squared minus 1 squared, right? So that's the property tells us, right? So a squared, a is equal to 50, so it's 50 squared minus b squared, b is equal to 1, so it's 1 squared, right? So now it's much more easy, right? So 50 squared is actually equal to 5 to 2,500, right? And then 1 squared is just simply equal to 1, right? And 2,500 minus 1 is actually 2499, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we actually solve question 9, right? So now we actually for question 9. So now let's move into question 10. Okay, so now let's move to question 10. And seeing question 10 is the last question. Yeah, question 10 is actually the last question. So question 9 is actually the last question. Okay, so you can okay, so maybe pause the video and then try to do excuse me, and try to doing this question by yourself. All right. Okay, so let's do the question. Again, we have to use the same method, right? For question 9. So let's do the question 10 a little bit faster. Okay. So you can see over here, we can actually write 60. So 64 is actually equal to 60 plus 4, right? And then 56. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, all right. So 56 is actually equal to 60 minus 4, right? So 64 is actually equal to 60 plus 4, and then 56 is actually equal to 60 minus 4, right? So it's actually 60 minus 4. So you can actually, write in this form, and then we are able to apply the property, right? So we want to using the property a plus b, a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared, right? So now we are actually able to using property over here. So we have 60 squared minus 4 squared, right? So that's basically the property tell us, right? So we have 60 squared minus 4 squared, right? So 60 to the power 2 is actually 3x00, so it's 3600, right? And then minus 4 squared is actually 16, right? So 4 squared is actually 16, right? Okay, so now we just do the subtraction, right? We just basically do the subtraction, so it just becomes 3, 5, 8, 4, right? So, okay, let me write a little more clear, I guess. 3, 5, 8, 4, right? So okay, so 3, 5, 8, 4 is actually the solution for question 10. Okay. Yeah. So as I said, it is not really difficult. If you practice enough, then you okay. Yeah. So that's basically all the question for this topic. Okay, so basically I just want to say, okay, so basically I just want to say thanks you guys watching my video. Okay, and yeah, okay, so thanks you guys, again, thanks you guys watching my video. All right, so basically in today's topic, we just basically talking about the multiplying polynomial, and we introduce 3 really important property, right? So I already say that you basically have to memorize it. Okay, so cause those 3 property will come back and further. Okay, all right, and then we're basically doing those questions, to just want to make sure you guys know how to actually apply it, right? So basically we're doing those questions, right? And please subscribe to my channel. Okay, please subscribe to my channel and like the video. Also click the notify button on, right? So if you still have any questions, please leave a comment. Okay, maybe why it's still confusing, right? So although I will try to answer your question as soon as possible, as soon as I see it. Okay, otherwise see you guys on the next video. All right, see you guys on the next video. Yeah, thanks. Okay.